What's up, everybody? As the title of this video says, Greyhound bus fucking sucks. I wanted to make this video for two reasons. The first reason being, I just want to fucking rant about how shitty of a company they are and how much there's just a fucking atrocious amount of assholes that work for these people that are fucking clueless. And secondly, I don't want anybody ever to have this experience. And my experience could have been a lot worse than it was. It was bad, but it could have been a lot worse. So I want to also preference the fact that I have rode the bus since I've been 13 years old. I've rode the bus all over the place. The reason I ride the bus is because I hate flying. I don't like flying. I have a fear of flying. The only time I'll ever fly is if I have to do it, but I don't like doing it. So with that being said, I'll kind of I'll tell you my experience. I hadn't rode the bus in probably 4.5 years. Um, but I decided I kind of had a bad month last month, and it was, I figured, you know what, I'll get out of town, I'll go visit a friend, and I'll just kind of let things, blow over. And so I talked to my friend, and he's like, "Yeah, that's great. I have this amount of time off, and yeah, I'd love to have you come out to Denver." I said, "Great. Well, come out to Denver." So the first thing I ran into was when I went to the Greyhound station in this town. It The building was there, but there was no station anymore. So I got on my phone and I looked up and I found the address, and I go, okay, that address is it's on the north end of town. So I drive over there, and it's a Carl's Jr. So I'm like, what the hell? So I walk in and I talk to the manager of the Carl's Jr. and I'm like, do you know where the Greyhound station is? He looks at me and he goes, I wish I had $1 for every time somebody asked me that question. I said, I know, I bet. And he goes, there is no Greyhound station anymore. And I went, he said, they pick you up here in the parking lot. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I guess I'll have to go home and buy a ticket online. So I get home, and call me whatever you want to call me. Call me an idiot, a dumb shit, a dumb fuck, whatever you want to call me. I could not for the life of me figure out how to order a round trip bus ticket on that godforsaken website. I could not figure it out. It was starting to just piss me off. I wanted to punch a hole through my monitor. I was so aggravated. So I calmed down and I was like, oh, I'll use the 1-800 number. Terrible idea. Um, it took me 7 calls to get a person on the phone that I could understand. I mean, I don't know where these people are at, but it's clear they're not in the United States because uh, it just the barrier in speech was just so bad. But I finally was able to get a gentleman, and I got a ticket. I printed the ticket out, and I'm looking at my ticket, and the one glaring thing that jumped off the page to me on this itinerary was the fact that they had me, first and foremost, leaving here, GP, at 4:30 in the morning on a Wednesday to proceed to go south to Medford, Oregon, which is about 40 minutes away from here, to then transfer buses to then come north again to go to Portland. And I'm like, why wouldn't that bus just pick me up in GP? It's going right by. Why don't they just pick me up here? But whatever. Okay, I'll get on. I'll do what the fucking itinerary says. Obviously. So that morning on Tuesday, I stayed up pretty much all day Tuesday. I got a couple hour nap. 3:30 rolls around on that Wednesday. I take a shower, call the taxi. Taxi picks me up, takes me to the Carl's Jr., and there I'm standing with a couple other people. And 4:30 rolls around, and there's no bus. 5 o'clock rolls around, no bus. So I started to get a little nervous. So I call the 1-800 number, and I'm like, the lady asked me for the information on my ticket, and once again, she's not speaking English very well. But she's not speaking English very well, and I'm upset. And my main concern was when I got to Medford, that bus that I was supposed to get on Medford to come back north was leaving there at 5:35. Here it is 5 o'clock, and it's a 40-minute drive to Medford. So I tell her, I'm explaining this to her, and she's like, don't worry, sir, don't worry. Don't worry, sir. Your bus will wait. Which I knew was bullshit. The bus was not going to fucking wait for me. So I asked her 3 times, are you sure the bus will wait? Every time she said, yes, it'll wait, it'll wait, it'll wait. Which I hear this lady is lying to me 3 times, 4 times actually. And I'm like, whatever. I'll get on the bus just in case, like, it does wait. So I get on the bus. All right, the bus comes finally at about, I think it was 6 o'clock. It finally shows up. And I hand my ticket, my itinerary to the bus driver, and he looks at it, and he scans it, and then he hands it back to me, and he throws my bag on there, and I'm like, don't I need a baggage claim? And he goes, no, you're just going to Medford. You don't need a baggage claim. I said, no, I'm going to Denver, Colorado. And he goes, oh, well, that changes everything. Can I see your ticket again? So I hand him my ticket again. He looks at it again. Now this man's had 2 times to tell me, don't get on the bus. Don't get on the bus. Your bus going back up north is gone. Don't get on this bus. But he didn't tell me that. I get on the bus. We head to Medford. And I get off the bus. And I get my bag. He shuts the thing. He's in a real hurry. And I say, do you know when the next bus going north is coming through? And he goes, any minute now. Have a good day. Gets on the bus and pulls out. So I'm sitting there, and I get up and I see this, sign on the window that says the times when buses come. And the next bus that was going north was at 9:35. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm here till 9:35 at least, But the security woman comes around, and she starts shooting the shit with me, and she starts asking, and she goes, yeah, I don't think they're gonna put you on that 9:35 bus. She says, they don't even have a bus station anymore in Portland. The Greyhound gave the bus station away to the city of Portland, so they're just putting people out on the side of the road. And I'm like, you're fucking shitting me, right? And she's like, no, they're just putting people out on the side of the road. In probably one of the worst parts of Portland. I mean, as far as druggies and homeless people and robbing and stealing, yeah, it's a bad place. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And it didn't dawn on me. It didn't dawn on me, like, at the moment, because she said, they're gonna send you south. And I thought, oh, cool, I'll just go to Sacramento, and then I'll go east from Sacramento. Go to Reno, and then, to Salt Lake City, and then to Denver. it didn't dawn on me until the bus station opened up that I remember seeing when I was looking online that there was a route that went to Sacramento, to Los Angeles, to Las Vegas, up to Denver from there. And when I handed the woman, which I have to say this, the woman at the Medford bus station, the woman that works there, is a saint. She completely kept me to where I wanted to freak out, but she was so nice. There's no way I could have freaked out on her. I didn't want to yell at her. Everybody was so nice there. They didn't bullshit me. They didn't tell me any lies. Everybody was so nice. And I appreciated that because it really saved me from making a terrible decision. But she reissued me a ticket. And I called my friend and I said, hey, man, I'm going to get there instead of Thursday night, I'm going to get there Friday morning. And I'm leaving on this date. And he's like, okay, cool. I can work that into my schedule. So I said, all right. So he worked it into his schedule, got everything under control. And sure as shit, my ticket was to go down to LA, over to Vegas, and up that way, and whatever. And that bus was leaving to go south at 1:30 out of Medford. Well, 1:30 rolled around, and that bus wasn't there. 2:30 rolled around. That bus didn't come. 3:30 rolled around. That's when she finally tells us, I'm not sure how late this bus is going to be. And I'm like, okay, well, She says it could be an hour. And so I waited another hour, 4:30. I waited another hour, 5:30. And around 6 o'clock was when I went up to the desk and I started talking to her. And I wanted to know what the worst case scenario is. But mind you, I'm very tired. I'm very upset. So I was having a hard time understanding what she was saying to me. And while she was talking, there was a gentleman behind me. And I knew he was waiting to get help. So I kind of turned and I looked at him and I just kind of shook my head. And I went outside and that gentleman did whatever he needed to do. And then he came out and he approached me. He says, he said to me, he didn't want to he goes, I don't want to get in your business, but he goes, it kind of looked like you didn't understand what she was trying to tell you. And I was like, I don't really understand what she was telling me. And he said, well, what she was telling you is that you're probably not going to get to Los Angeles till probably late Thursday night or early Friday morning. And at best, you might not leave LA to go to Denver till late Saturday or early Sunday morning. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, this bus is so far behind that it's throwing everything off. And he's like, they also have a thing where if the bus is full, they're not going to put you on that bus. They're going to wait till there's a bus that has a space for you. And I went, okay. So I went in, I talked to her again, and I explained what he had said to me. And she just shook her head, and she said, yes, that could happen. And it probably will happen. And I had to find a ride, somebody to come get me, because I'm 40 minutes away from here. So I called my dad, and he said he could pick me up. He'd be there in like an hour. And so I went up to her, and I was like, I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry. She's very sympathetic, very empathetic, very apologetic. And she's like, do you want a refund? And I was like, yeah, I'd like a refund if that's okay. And she's like, yeah. And then she realized that she had reissued my ticket and that she couldn't give me a refund on a reissued ticket. So I was like, oh, hell no. Whatever. No, whatever. Yeah, $398 down the drain because she wrote a bunch of stuff on there. Like, she gave me a voucher and she wrote a bunch of stuff on there. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, dude, I will never be traveling on that fucking blue and fucking silver turd ever again. Like, I am fucking done with that fucking... That was such a nightmare. My dad got to that station at 7:30 at night, and that bus still hadn't showed up. So I don't know what the fuck they were doing, because where they were at was Roseburg, and that's literally 2.5 hours away. They must have had the bus driver sitting in the seat and the passengers pushing the motherfucker, because how it takes that long to get that small amount of is fucking beyond me. Lord knows what the hell was going on. But, you know, it wasn't until I got home and that one of the security woman told me, like, yeah, why do you think they went from a 4-star rating to a 1-star rating? Well, I don't look at reviews. I never looked at that. But I looked at the reviews, and it just started to make me think, like, what if that bus was on time that picked me up in the morning? And I got to Medford, but that bus going to Portland was late. So I get to Portland, my other bus going east has already left. Now I'm sitting on the side of the fucking sidewalk, 5.5 hours away from, I mean, things could have been much worse. I could have fucking gotten on a bus and gone to LA and been sitting in LA for fucking 72 hours, which would have been a nightmare. So, you know, and mostly it was, for me, the trip was time sensitive. I needed to be back on a specific date because I was getting on an airplane to fly to LA for a business meeting. So things had to be structured, and they always were like that with Greyhound. It always was like that with Greyhound. I never had any problem. But I thought, just has to happen. It just has to happen this one time. I mean, all the good rides, you just got to have one bad ride. No. Look at the reviews. Watch the videos. This is the norm for Greyhound now. This company, I don't know what the fuck is going on, if they don't have enough buses, enough drivers, or what. I know they're for sale. I saw that. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with these people. They have some of the most degenerate fucking people. Those people working at that 1-800 call center, those people are fucking retards. Like, I'm sorry, but they don't help you at all. That driver, he could have saved me my whole day by saying, "Don't get on this bus, dude. You've already missed your other bus. They're just gonna reissue you a ticket to go to fucking goddamn Los Angeles, and then, or why couldn't I have just stayed on that bus if you knew? And then when we got to Sacramento, I could. Why can nobody help make your trip easy like they used to? It's bullshit. Don't ride a Greyhound bus. I promise you, it will be hell. Thank you for watching my video.